So this is a Sudo Security Bypass. It's a tutorial room exploring CVE-2019-14287 in the Unix sudo program. This is going to be room 1 in a sudo vuln series. So let's start our machine. First off, start the attack box. So task 1 is saying you have to connect to the THM network using your OpenVPN configuration file, and it shows you how to do it. If it gives you a link to a room if you don't know how to do it. Linux, it will show you, hey, you just enter with the command line. That's what we're going to do since we're using the attack box. And on Windows, use software called like PuTTY. And then you enter all the, the IP here, and then pretty much follow what's on the screen. Hit open. So there's no answer needed, so we'll go ahead and select that. And it's talking about CVE 2019 14287. It goes into the history of how it was found by a researcher at Apple, Mr. Joe Venix. He also found the vulnerability that is covered in the rest of the series. It's still present in older versions of sudo, so make sure your stuff's updated. And then breaks down sudo as a command in Unix that allows you to execute programs as other users. This usually defaults to the super user or root, but it is also possible to execute programs as other users by specifying their username or UID. So here they, show you can't do it. And then how you can edit the sudoers file, add a line like that. This is open, let's close that and open terminal. It goes into Joe Venix found that if you specify user ID of -1 or its unsigned equivalent of 42949679295, sudo would incorrectly read this as being 0. This meaning specifying a UID of -1 or 42949679295. You can execute a command as root. It's worth noting that this will only work if you've been granted non-root sudo permissions for the command as in the configuration above. Alright, so first let's SSH into the machine. So we're going to be going to port 2222, so we have to specify port 2222 and TryHackMe at 10.201.50.255. Do we want to fingerprint it? Yes, we do. Okay, and the password is TryHackMe. Okay, now you see that we are SSH into this machine, and let's first see if we have sudo privileges. So now down here it says what's the flag and root.txt. So let's just try to see if we have sudo privileges. Sudo cat root.txt. Let's enter our password. Alright, so don't have authorization to do that. So let's see what we can run with sudo. So hit sudo-l. User TryHackMe may run the following commands on sudo privsec all, not root, password, no password, is bin bash. Alright, so we're going to go sudo, and then we're going to go up here because we're going to run it as root. So -u number -1, and then let's go bin bash, which should open up root. And there it is, root at sudo privsec. So now all we got to do is cat root.txt, and there's our flag. So copy that, paste that. Oh, we forgot to enter what can we run. That is bin bash. So we'll submit this one, and then we'll submit this one. And we did it. Sudo Security Bypass is complete.